Listen closely because this is not a small message, and it is not something you should brush aside. Someone deeply tied to your heart is carrying a choice that has grown too heavy to hold in silence. It is shaping their thoughts. It is disturbing their peace. And whether you fully see it yet or not, it is touching your energy too. Something is shifting in the background. Something real is moving in a quiet way, even if it has not taken full shape yet. You may have felt it already through little moments, through sudden thoughts that entered your mind for no clear reason, through memories that came back without warning, or through a strange weight in your chest that you could not explain. That feeling is not random. It means something. It is a sign that this connection is moving through an important season. So stay with me, because what you are about to hear may explain what your heart has been trying to understand for a long time. Do not rush past this. Do not skip this part. What is happening now could become a turning point in ways you cannot fully see yet. The person tied to your heart is carrying pressure, confusion, and emotions they can no longer hide from themselves the way they once did. On the outside, they may still look fine. They may still act normal. They may still speak like everything is under control. But inside, something is catching up with them at last. Deep inside them, thoughts they worked hard to avoid are coming back. Feelings they buried are rising again. This is not a message asking you to panic. It is asking you to pay attention, to stay patient, and to keep your heart steady. What comes next is not something to fear. It is something to understand. There is a door inside them that has stayed shut for far too long, and now life itself is pushing on that door little by little. Their struggle is not only with outside stress. The bigger battle is happening inside their own heart and mind. It is the fight between what feels safe and what feels true. For a long time they tried to keep moving without facing emotions that never fully went away. They told themselves staying busy would be enough. They believed time would heal what they kept avoiding. They thought they could bury certain memories, quiet certain feelings, and still move on as if nothing happened. But some truths do not stay buried forever. Some feelings always return, and some connections do not lose their meaning just because there was distance or silence. That is where they are now. Thoughts they once escaped are returning in the quiet hours. Emotions they pushed away are getting stronger. Their heart is asking questions their mind can no longer avoid. One part of them wants peace. Another part is afraid of what honesty will ask from them. One part wants to come closer. Another part remembers pain and pulls back. If their energy has felt mixed lately, this is why. If they seem warm one day and distant the next, this is why too. It is not always because they do not care. In many cases, it is because they care more deeply than they know how to handle. When emotions get too big and too tangled, people often step back not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much all at once. Keep listening because this matters more than it seems. What they are going through is not empty confusion. It is not pointless delay. It is pressure building toward a moment they will not be able to avoid forever. Even if you cannot see everything from the outside, that does not mean nothing is changing. Some of the biggest changes in life begin in silence, in places nobody else can see. Roots grow deep before a tree appears above the ground. Foundations are built before a house can stand. Emotional growth often begins the same way. Hidden first, visible later. Your person is in that hidden stage right now. They are starting to see that what once felt comfortable does not bring real peace anymore. Old distractions are losing power. The things they used to lean on to avoid their feelings are no longer working the same way. Silence feels louder now. Distraction feels weaker. And something deeper inside them is asking for honesty. Once honesty begins, life starts to change direction. Even if that change is slow at first, it still changes everything. Because after a person truly sees what they have been avoiding, they can never fully return to pretending everything is fine. That is why the restlessness keeps growing. That is why the same thoughts keep returning. That is why this connection keeps coming back into their mind, even when they try to focus on other things. You may have felt something similar in your own way. Old memories may have returned without warning. Emotions may have surfaced out of nowhere. You may have sensed that something between you and this person still feels unfinished. Do not ignore that feeling completely, but do not let it steal your peace either. There is movement here. Quiet movement, yes, but real movement. When change begins inside a person, outer change usually follows with time, even if it does not happen right away. Growth in the heart often takes longer before it shows up through actions, words, and choices. Right now, your role is not to force answers. It is not to chase clarity before the right moment comes. It is not to create quick stories just to calm your uncertainty. Your role is to stay steady while this unfolds naturally. That is real strength. Not loud strength, not emotional chaos, quiet strength, peaceful strength. The kind that stays calm even when feelings are intense. The kind that does not break just because answers are delayed. The kind that does not let fear write the ending before truth has had the chance to speak. Stay with this, because the next part matters. This season is teaching both of you something important. While they are learning honesty and accountability, you are learning patience and trust. While they are learning courage, you are learning emotional balance. These lessons are not easy, but they are shaping something deeper inside you. Many people lose meaningful connections not because those bonds were false, but because they reacted too fast during uncertain moments. They let fear speak louder than wisdom. They made choices while confused, and later wished they had waited. You are being guided away from that pattern, so if your heart has felt restless, slow down. If your thoughts have been racing with assumptions, take a step back. If you have been tempted to expect the worst, pause and choose patience instead. This is not the season to ruin your peace with fear. This is the season to protect your peace while the truth reveals itself in its own time. And if these words are hitting something deep inside you, keep going, because there is more happening under the surface. The truth is, your person is getting tired. Tired of carrying unfinished emotions, tired of replaying old memories in their head, tired of acting like certain feelings are gone when they are not, tired of wondering what could have been, tired of carrying something that was never fully settled. That kind of tiredness matters. Sometimes, emotional exhaustion becomes the turning point. A person can avoid their feelings only for so long before avoiding them becomes more painful than finally facing them. That is the place they are slowly moving toward. They may not fully understand it yet. They may still go back and forth. They may still move between clarity and confusion. But something inside them is changing direction. The comfort they once protected is starting to feel less safe than the truth they kept trying to avoid. And when that shift becomes real, life can move much faster than anyone expected. A conversation that once felt impossible can suddenly happen. A truth that stayed hidden for a long time can finally rise. A guarded heart can begin to open again. So if everything has felt slow, do not assume it will stay that way forever. If there has been distance, do not assume distance is permanent. Some of the biggest changes come after long periods of silence. Some of the clearest truths arrive only after long emotional waiting. Your role right now is not to give up hope. Your role is to stay aware, remain steady, and keep your heart open enough to notice when things start changing in real life, not only in your emotions. There are also outside influences around them, and not all of them are leading them in the right direction. Some voices push them toward growth, honesty, and reflection. Other voices pull them back toward comfort and avoidance. Some situations make them think more deeply about life. Others encourage distraction so they never have to face what truly matters. This is one reason their energy may feel unstable. Some days they seem clear, focused, and sure. Other days they fall back into doubt. At times they feel ready to face everything honestly. Then fear returns. old wounds open again, and hesitation takes over. Do not mistake that hesitation for lack of feeling. Very often, hesitation comes from feeling too much and not knowing how to carry it in a healthy way. They are struggling with vulnerability. They are struggling with growth. They are struggling with the question of what life will look like after truth is finally spoken. That fear is real, but it will not stay stronger than truth forever. Sooner or later, truth becomes louder than fear. And when that happens, everything starts to shift in ways that are hard to ignore. You may notice little signs first: a softer tone, a gentler response, a moment of honesty that feels different from before, a change in energy that feels more real. Watch those small signs carefully because they often mean more than they seem to. Growth almost never happens in a perfect way. It usually does not arrive all at once. Most of the time it grows slowly, one step at a time, sometimes in awkward and uncertain ways. But even a small step forward is still progress. If you wait only for a perfect moment, you may miss the first proof of real change. At the same time, something important is happening inside you too. This season is not only changing them, it is changing you. You are learning how to protect your peace without closing your heart. You are learning to trust your own understanding instead of always looking for outside reassurance. You are learning how to stay calm when answers take longer than you hoped. You are learning how to remain steady even while life feels unclear. These are not easy lessons, but they are powerful ones. They stay with you long after this chapter ends. So keep moving with patience. Keep your heart open without becoming overwhelmed. Keep your thoughts clear without letting fear take over. Let time do its work without forcing results before they are ready. Listen closely because this next part could change how you see everything. The next stage of this connection will ask for maturity from both of you. Not perfection, maturity. The ability to listen without rushing to defend yourself. The ability to speak honestly without turning every fear into a final truth. The ability to pause, understand, and respond with care instead of reacting too quickly. The ability to choose truth over old habits that once controlled emotions without being noticed. Maybe a year ago this situation would have shaken you much more than it does now. Maybe back then, uncertainty would have taken over your thoughts and pulled your emotions in every direction. But you are not the same person anymore. Life has shaped you in quiet but powerful ways. The delays did not only test your patience, they also helped you grow. The disappointment did not only hurt you, it strengthened your ability to get back up every time life knocked you down. Every difficult season gave you something useful, even if you could not see it at the time. None of it was wasted. Every moment helped build the person you are becoming. It prepared you for a moment like this, where emotional stability matters more than emotional reaction. That kind of stability is rare. It is built slowly through experience, reflection, and growth. So do not overlook how far you have come. Do not focus only on what still feels unfinished. Look at who you have become. Notice how your reactions have changed. Notice how your heart no longer runs toward fear the way it once did. Notice how you can now sit with uncertainty without letting it break you inside. That inner strength will matter when the next part of this story begins to show itself. And that next part may not start in a dramatic way. It may not come through huge confessions or emotional scenes. It may begin quietly, through a simple message, through a calm conversation, through a moment when silence starts to feel heavier than honesty. And when that moment arrives, do not expect perfection. Expect sincerity. Expect real human emotion. Expect pauses. Expect unfinished sentences. Expect truth to come out slowly instead of all at once. Most people do not reveal everything in one conversation. More often they share what is in their heart, piece by piece. And those small pieces slowly form a much bigger picture. Sometimes the first sign of change is not a dramatic confession. Sometimes it is simply that someone stops running from their feelings. Even that small step carries meaning, because when avoidance ends, awareness begins. And when awareness begins, the whole situation starts to move forward. If that moment comes, do not listen only to the words. Listen beneath them. Pay attention to the feeling behind the message. Notice the courage it took for them to speak. Notice the movement from silence toward expression. Notice how truth starts to appear where fear once controlled everything. Real change often looks softer than people expect. It does not always arrive through strong or polished words. Sometimes it comes through hesitation. Sometimes it appears through imperfect honesty, through someone finally saying what they have carried in their heart for a very long time, but never had the courage to say out loud. Do not skip this part, because even a small, honest moment can change everything. So stay calm and stay wise. Do not let old fears make you misunderstand a new truth. This story is still unfolding. Even if parts of it still feel quiet or uncertain, changes are happening behind the scenes, creating a new direction, even if you cannot fully see it yet. Even now, when it feels like nothing is happening, something is becoming clearer. Something is slowly arranging itself for the next stage. When that change finally becomes visible, your emotional balance will matter more than ever. It will help you answer with wisdom instead of panic. There is a reason this connection has felt heavier lately. There is a reason your intuition has felt stronger. There is a reason certain thoughts, memories, and emotions keep returning without warning. These patterns are not meaningless. They are part of a deeper process asking for awareness instead of confusion. This season is not only about emotion, it is also about growth. It is about learning. It is about finally facing what has remained unresolved. The pressure you feel is not here to destroy what matters. It is here to reveal what is real and what can no longer stay hidden. Fear pushes people toward quick reactions. It encourages assumptions. It wants protection at any cost. It wants you to shut your heart before anything can hurt you again. But wisdom walks a different path. Wisdom asks you to stay grounded, watch carefully, and wait until truth becomes clear instead of reacting to uncertainty. That difference matters now more than ever, because what is happening here is not just emotional, it is also a journey of deep personal growth for both of you. It is about becoming more aware of yourselves. It is about seeing patterns that have repeated for too long. It is about learning better ways to respond to emotional truth. The pressure around this connection is not meant to break it. It is showing what is strong enough to last and what can no longer stay hidden. That is why feelings are so close to the surface. That is why even small moments feel more meaningful than usual. That is why silence can feel heavy instead of empty. Underneath it all, growth is taking place. Growth in you, growth in them, growth in the connection itself. And growth is rarely comfortable while it is happening. It does not always feel neat or easy to understand. Many times it feels confusing before it finally makes sense. Clarity does not appear overnight. It grows slowly through choices, honest moments, and small changes in behavior and understanding. Little by little, things begin to make more sense. Even if you still cannot see the full picture, hold on to that truth, especially if waiting has left you tired or unsure about what comes next. The story is not over. It is still moving. What happens next will depend on decisions that have not been fully made yet. Their choices matter. Your choices matter. The choice to stop hiding emotions matters. The choice to speak honestly instead of making assumptions matters. The choice to welcome truth with openness instead of fear will shape what comes next. They are reaching a point where they must choose between staying silent or finally facing what they really feel. And you are reaching a point where you must choose whether fear will rule your peace or wisdom will guide your response. That is why this moment matters so much. Not because everything has already been decided, but because something is getting ready to change. This is not only about what they feel, it is also about who both of you are becoming through everything you have lived through. Strong connections are not proven during easy seasons. They are revealed during uncertain ones. They grow stronger when clarity takes time and emotions become complicated. If something is truly real, it does not disappear just because the road becomes difficult. It is tested, it is refined, it is either strengthened or released. If you have been asking whether anything meaningful is happening, the answer is yes. Something important is happening. Something deep is shifting. Old silence is losing power. Old resistance is getting weaker. Old confusion is slowly starting to break apart. And as those old walls fall, something more honest can finally appear. Something clearer, something more genuine than what was there before. When that truth rises to the surface, your inner peace will help you meet it with understanding instead of emotional overwhelm. Protect your heart, but do not harden it. Stay open enough to recognize the truth, while staying steady enough not to lose yourself in uncertainty. Because the next step in this story may come sooner than you think, and when it comes, you will need clarity more than fear. Hold on to that as you keep moving forward. Their struggle will not last forever. The confusion will not stay forever. The waiting will not continue forever. Every season changes, even the ones that feel slow, heavy, and difficult. Every experience teaches something at the right time, and no matter how this journey continues, you are already far more ready than you were when it first began.